Welcome to this essential course on ChatGPT for accounting professionals and the owners of accounting firms. And what we're going to look at in this video is how can you benefit from the huge potential and opportunity of ChatGPT, how you can use it to save hours of time every single day and get much better results. What we're going to look at in this course is we're going to talk about some of the foundations. We're going to look at things like what are prompt templates and why that is going to save you so much time. We're going to look at some of the background to AI and ChatGPT, and most importantly, why it's important for you to stay relevant, to stay ahead of the curve, because the world is changing so fast. We're going to look at which is the best tool to use, which AI tool should you really focus on. We're going to then get really detailed in ChatGPT. We're going to go through it. I'm going to show you how to set it up, which of the plans is best for you. We're going to go through a tour of all of the settings. We're going to look at all those tools that you have access to. We're going to look at some advanced features such as projects, custom GPTs. I'm also going to cover lots of practical examples in the course. We'll also look at some of the limitations and how to get around those limitations. We'll talk a bit about prompt engineering. We have so much stuff to cover, so we need to get started pretty quickly. But beforehand, just in case you have no idea who I am, just a bit of background. My name is Mark Wickersham. I'm a chartered accountant. I am from the UK, although since 2000, I now live in Portugal. I entered the profession way back in 1988, qualified as a chartered accountant at a large 8-partner accounting firm in the UK, then specialised in tax planning for a number of years, and then 1996 I started my own accounting firm, ran that for a decade before I sold that to my team, and then I started working with the amazing Steve Pipe, and I ran an organisation called AVN for a decade with Steve, teaching accounting firm owners in the UK how to build more successful accounting firms. And then in 2014, I founded the Value Pricing Academy, and I guess I'm most known in the profession for teaching value pricing. I've written several books on the subject. So why ChatGPT? Well, one of the things I've always been obsessed with in the past was I came across, back in 1998, Michael Gerber and his book, The E-Myth Revisited. And he talked about the importance of systems, or SOPs, if you like, standard operating procedures. And this really struck a chord with me back in 1998 because I was a sole practitioner and I did everything in my business, everything in the firm, all the systems were in my head. And so I realized the power of having systems so that I could automate stuff, so I could delegate stuff to my team. And ever since then, I've been obsessed with how can we get more stuff done? How can we be more effective and more efficient? How can we be more productive in our day? In fact, 2 of my books back here, I wrote in a single day because having spent months on my first book, I then went about figuring out what's the fastest way to create a book. So I've always been obsessed with productivity, how to get more stuff done. And so when I came across ChatGPT, this light bulb went on and I realized that this is going to change everything. It was back in February of 2023. ChatGPT had just been out. And I've been obsessed ever since. I've been teaching it. I use it in my day-to-day life every single day. And it does save me extraordinary amounts of time. I can now get done in a single day things that would have taken me an entire week. It makes that much of a difference to my life and also to everybody I've been teaching for the last few years how to get more out of this tool. So that's me. I am now known as one of the experts in the world at how to use ChatGPT for the accounting profession, as well as, of course, value pricing, which I've been known for a long time. So we're going to get into ChatGPT, but I want to talk about really some of the background first. And I'm going to kick off with a practical example, just to demonstrate the power of this extraordinary tool. But before I do that, I want to talk about a couple of concepts that we'll come back to a few times during the course of this training. I want to talk about the idea of a prompt template. Now, prompting is essentially asking a large language model, an LLM like ChatGPT, to do something. And One of the things we'll talk about later, and you'll see during this course, is that the better your prompt is, the more structured your prompt, the more specific your prompt, the better the outcome that you are going to get. And so we have to be good at crafting our prompts. And this is something called prompt engineering. I will come back to this later. Prompt engineering is incredibly important and powerful. But also, going back to this idea of productivity and getting more stuff done, I'm a big believer in creating prompt templates. And a prompt template is a mini system. Let me just give you a definition of a prompt template. It's a reusable, pre-structured prompt designed for a specific task. It includes variable fields where you insert some context or data, allowing consistent, repeatable use for similar activities. So, for example, let's say that at the end of every client meeting to go through the annual financial statements, you want to create a report for the client. Well, rather than having to craft the prompt from scratch every single time, let's craft a great prompt that will give a consistent style report every single time. It's going to save so much time. And so for every task that you want to do and use ChatGPT or whatever LLM you want to use, whatever task you want to do that's repeatable, create a prompt template. And so prompt templates could be things for writing blog posts, for generating reports for clients, for writing systems or SOPs, for planning your marketing calendar, for writing emails. There are so many things, and we'll look at more practical examples later. There are so many things that you, once you understand the power of these tools, that you will want to do frequently. And so I strongly recommend you get into the habit of building prompt templates. And I think of these as being little mini systems. So if you've ever come across Michael Gerber and the E-Myth Revisited, if you understand the power of systems, things like standard checklists, standard forms, standard emails, step-by-step processes, systems are so important. Accountants and bookkeepers are very good with systems. We are very organized in our thinking, very structured. And prompt templates are mini systems. They're a little system that we can run to get a predictable output. And when we have these prompt templates, these mini systems, it also means that we can delegate complex tasks to our team that can then do things and get extraordinary results that in the past we might have had to do. So that's a prompt template. Now, once you create your prompt templates, your standard prompts, you then want to have some way where you can sort them, organize them, and access them as and when you need them. And that's the concept of a prompt library. So let me give you a definition of a prompt library. Essentially, it's an organized database of standard prompts or prompt templates, making it easy to store, search, and reuse them within large language models like ChatGPT. So this database, where would you put your prompts? Well, at a very simple level, it could be that every prompt is a Word document and you have a folder system somewhere to access each one. But that's cumbersome, it's difficult, better to use a database. Some people use Trello, some people like Notion and use that for their prompt library. Some people use databases like Airtable. I'm going to show you something different. So let's go and do a practical example. Let me show you something that you can do with ChatGPT and something that is extremely powerful. So we're going to hop across to ChatGPT and we're going to grab a prompt. So here we are inside ChatGPT. I happen to be in a project right now. We'll talk about that later. I'm in ChatGPT. Let's run a prompt. Let's imagine that you have a meeting later today, perhaps tomorrow, with a client, and you've just done the end of year financial statements and you want to get some ideas of what to talk about in your meeting, perhaps even create a report for the client that will analyze their financial statements. So let's do that. But I'm going to go to the prompt library first. So this is the prompt library that I use. I'll just hide the side button for the side menu for a second. This is software that I've created, and it's software that I give away free of charge to members of the AI Academy.